Hello everyone, welcome to my Car Review 2025 official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Nissan Ariya is an under-the-radar car in New Zealand, partly because it had a very, shall we say, erratic launch sequence. It was confirmed for the market in 2023 when the clean car discount was the ticket to big EV sales, but didn't quite arrive. Ariya was put on hold indefinitely in mid-2024 by Nissan NZ, as demand for plug-in vehicles collapsed. But then in November, the company surprised everybody by releasing it after all, in 3 different versions. So this is our first review of a proper Kiwi-spec Ariya. For context, there are a few things you should know. Nissan claims Ariya is still the first pure electric SUV designed and built in Japan, a pioneer. It's a relatively mature car now, signed off in 2020 but delayed in many global markets until 2022, due to COVID chip shortages. So in a 2025 context, Ariya is unlikely to wow you with advanced EV technology and extreme abilities. But wind back the clock and think about the future we used to imagine with electric vehicles. They were going to be exquisitely designed, futuristic feeling and waft us around in utter silence. You could make an argument that Ariya is pretty close to that transport future we were promised. Ariya could sell on styling alone. Even if you don't like the look, you cannot argue Nissan has executed a particular design theme with scrupulous attention to detail, inside and out. The company argues Ariya embraces uniquely Japanese themes and uses words like Iki Utsuro and Ma to describe the car, which can seem a bit pretentious, but everywhere you look there are clean lines and clever touches. And Japanese words are cool words. You see new things every time you look at the exterior, especially in our car's stunning Aurora green color. It looks black in low light, but turns green or reddish purple in the sun depending on the angle. The faux grille has a subtle kumiko pattern behind the shiny stuff. It's supposed to look like intricate Japanese woodworking. That effect is repeated in illuminated sections in the cabin, footwell and doors. The lighting down low is supposed to remind you of a Japanese paper lantern. Yep, Nissan really ran with this stuff on Ariya. There's wood grain on the dashboard and console, but it steps into the realm of high-tech by having backlit touch controls embedded. They look very elegant, it's just a shame they're a bit clumsy to operate, because it's hard to find the right level of pressure, and while you can also physically click them, it requires a fairly hard press. The ventilation outlets have a decorative copper line running through them. They're hinged at the front, so that when you adjust the angle of individual sections, the line stays unbroken. It's the little things. The posh stuff is not at the expense of practicality. Check out the dual glove boxes hidden out of sight, underneath the dashboard. Or the generous console box between the front seat. There are very few luxury car cabins that equal this blend of elegance and attention to detail, and this is a mainstream family SUV. Remember that in the midst of this design excellence, the graphics and layout of Nissan's infotainment system is simply terrible, like something from a decade ago. The reversing camera is a bit rubbish looking, too. The only solution is plug into phone projection and let Apple or Android take over the screen. Fast, but the electric motor is carefully calibrated for a smooth takeoff, and the Ariya is unbelievably quiet at motorway cruising speeds. Its Bridgestone Alenza tires are known for their quietness on different surfaces, but the whole car is deeply impressive for its refinement. It's like a sensory deprivation chamber, and we mean that in a good way. Ariya is even quite composed in the corners, with good steering and well-controlled suspension, although there's very little in the car's dynamic character that would encourage you to drive quickly along a winding road. We're not even sure it has a dynamic character, but we're also pretty sure that's what Nissan was going for. The FWD models have a modest 63 kWh battery, so it's probably not a car for a big tour. WLTP range is 398 kilometers, so you're looking at 300 to 350 kilometers real-world depending on what kind of driving you're doing. Our car was only showing 300 kilometers on a full charge when we picked it up, but over 10 days of varied running it improved and climbed up towards an indicated 400 kilometers. Engage is pretty well equipped, despite its entry status. You don't get the leather upholstery of the Advance, but we rather like the grey fabric seats. They suit the minimalist vibe. It gets the full suite of safety features save the 360-degree camera. The driver assists are really well calibrated in Ariya too, by which we mean not annoying. The biggest omissions are power assistance for the seats and tailgate. But you can forgive that while this model is still at its launch pricing of $59,990, a handy saving over the full retail of $76,990. Ariya is more like a mobility pod than an actual car to drive and enjoy in a conventional sense. And we have the feeling that's exactly the intention. Engage is the entry point to the Ariya range. It was launched at a special introductory price of $59,990 at the end of 2024, and that still stands. When the full retail kicks in, it'll be $76,990. All front-drive Ariya models have a 64 kWh battery and 160 kilowatts per 300 Nm electric motor, with a single-speed transmission. The range claim of 398 kilometers is pretty impressive for a relatively small battery by class standards. It helps that the Ariya is a car that encourages relaxed driving, see above. It's ultra-refined and really rewards smooth driving. However, it's also quite capable if you're feeling frisky, with good steering and well-controlled suspension. The minimalist cabin makes it feel like a nice way to travel. The cabin is relatively spacious, enhanced by a flat floor. However, the rear seat, while roomy, is a little bit knees-up, and the 466-litre boot is average by class standards. Love the double floor with pop-up partition, though. High style, consistently executed, extreme refinement, well-calibrated safety assists, sense of well-being in the cabin. Terrible infotainment graphics, Android Auto needs a cable, grainy reversing camera, entry engage is missing power seat adjustment and power tailgate. Somebody who wants a family EV SUV that looks and feels a bit futuristic, more mobility pod than an actual car. So what do you guys think about this update? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my videos, please press like and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time.